Important issues, 1-0. We're undefeated right now. A lot of teams aren't undefeated. Clemson, Vanderbilt, Washington.
Go Bucks! Go Bucks!
Buck up, baby.
I was up here late Saturday night. I expected campus to be popping, and it may have been. I literally just drove home to my apartment, but not. I didn't see any couches burning. So ETSU fans, we're gonna have to figure this out.
They expected to win. How about that?
That's fair. That's a good point.
They expected to win. It wasn't a surprise at all. But good for ETSU and that program, Coach Sanders up there. Let's get into everything. More Important Issues is brought to you by our sponsors, Tennessee Tap House, Hound Dogs, Billy Ratliff's Tap 40 Grill, and Blue Water Climate Control. Here's a quick word from our good friends at Blue Water Climate Control.
People always ask, where did we get the name Blue Water Climate Control? When a Navy ship casts off lines, exits the harbor, and loses sight of land, that's blue water sailing. It takes a team of people to do that. Tireless work, focus, and attention to detail. So much of starting a business is just like that. After it's done, you get filled with deep satisfaction for accomplishing something. And it's quickly followed by, now the real work begins. We're Blue Water Climate Control.
Season. Balls are back.
Yeah, they had us the first half, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, could be Wayne!
I think I got my swagger back. Oh!
I love it, baby!
Them orange britches. Something about them orange britches.
Tennessee wins! By Tennessee, Jawan Jennings. Jennings makes the catch.
Ball hit high in the air into right field. Going back is Sayre. And Tennessee can say hello, win column. A grand slam in the bottom of the ninth. You can't draw it up any better.
We just won a basketball game, and we're very happy right now.
I made up my mind. I don't expect to ever look back. I'm going to stay at the University of Tennessee.
Reddit to do and welcome into More Important Issues. It is Thursday, September 9th. The Vols are 1-0. This is our first time coming at you guys after a Bowling Green win. A lot of people can say it wasn't that pretty. A lot of people can say it was Bowling Green, yada, yada, yada. Don't care. Vols are 1-0. Doesn't matter. Like, it's that simple. Vols, I think it was best, and we'll kind of get into this. I know you want to talk about some people who impressed, but like the Vols just took care of business, and that's all you can ask in those games. If you're looking for it to be beautiful, if you're looking for it to be just the smoothest thing on planet, like that's just not how it's going to go ever. I mean, at one point, didn't Citadel, weren't they down just like 7-0 to Alabama just like 2 years ago at the end of the first quarter?
Yeah, and then it turned into what, 60 to.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm just like saying, like, even a team like Alabama, who seems like they never miss a beat, like this year when, like, I mean, this has got to be the most, I said it last episode, this has to be the most question marks Alabama's had since probably the, who started in front of Jalen Hurd? Blake Barnett?
Jalen Hurts?
Yeah. Jalen Hurts. Sorry. Jalen Hurts. Who started that year?
Yeah, was it Blake Barnett?
I think so.
Barnett?
Is that the right name? Anyways, it may not be the right name, but who
even
knows
this year,
who cares? He ended up going nowhere. But it's just like even a team like that seems to never miss a beat. So it's like, sure, expect some hiccups. I mean, I thought I'm sorry, I don't know if we're gonna. I mean, I guess we can go ahead and jump into Bowling Green. I thought for the most part, Vols new offense. I mean, the first quarter, obviously, first two drives, everyone's very, very pleased. You're thinking, holy crap, have they turned a corner? Because they didn't, like, I know Bowling Green's Bowling Green, but they didn't have an issue. I mean, was there even a speed bump on the first two drives?
It didn't feel like, and if there was, you couldn't see it because it was that fast.
Maybe some of those rumble strips, those like neighborhood rumble strips.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it was just kind of roll through it. It just seemed pretty easy, and it didn't turn out to be the game that you thought it was after those first two drives. But, the outcome was never in doubt. Tennessee was going to win that game easily, and, I'm sure it was vanilla on offense. I'm sure it was vanilla on defense, not trying to show anything before a big game against Pitt. But Tennessee won by 32 points. It's hard to really, I'm sure we're going to nitpick a little bit here and there, but like there's not a whole lot you can't complain about after a 32-point victory.
I'm done nitpicking. I've decided 100%, like just a fan. Like I'm going to be mad this year, but that's it. I'm not going to nitpick. I think there's a difference. I'm a fan. I'm sure somebody sitting around me at games is going to be like, this dude is insane. That's fine. That's just who I am. But I'm going to try my best not to nitpick. That's where I'm going. That's the route I'm taking. That's fine. Landon can nitpick. I'll be the orange Kool-Aid guy or the orange milk. Have you had Weigel's orange milk yet? I'm getting way off topic.
No, have you?
I haven't. I need to get it this weekend. I don't even know where there's a Weigel's like close to here. Morristown is where the closest I know of.
You can pick me up and we'll go straight to Weigel's and then go head to the
That's perfect. I did have cinnamon toast crunch Nesquik milk yesterday. Holy crap, amazing. All right, sorry, I'll get back on. Delicious. Highly recommend. But yeah, I mean, so let's look at that game. I mean, it opens up. The first 2 drives did not necessarily go how I expected. I mean, I was hoping they would go that way. How shocked were you? Were you shocked?
I guess like actually seeing that offense for the first time be that fast was kind of shocking because it's something we just haven't seen.
Right.
But also it was just shocking to have somebody new under center. That's not a shot. I'm just saying like it was just weird.
Yeah, I mean, because you had a couple guys that started in that place, but since 2017, it's pretty much been number 2.
Yep.
For the most part, outside of a couple games. But yeah, I mean that's true. It did kind of feel weird seeing someone else back there. I was kind of impressed for just going in the first 2 drives, just how Tennessee kind of kept their options open. They did try to hit on a deep ball. They did run a dive the first play. I was about to turn off the TV right then. I really was. I was like, "There's no way this is happening again." But they did, open up the playbook on the first drive.
They didn't fumble.
That's
the first thing they did on Jeremy Pruitt's first play. So
it's a good point. So I mean, I like that because you mentioned vanilla, and I'm sure it was like vanilla to an extent, but they didn't just completely shut down what they've been preparing for all fall camp for one game. Like they ran a version of their offense, if you will. And I thought, I mean, first off, and we're going to get into this, I know too, talking about Pitt, the running backs were we knew what we had in Jabari Small. We know what we have, kind of knew, what you may have in Tyon Evans, but I thought both of them played really, really, really well, played to their strengths, and it came out on the first drive too.
Yeah, I thought that was, that kind of looked like Tennessee's maybe go-to this season already is that running game. Hopefully the passing game improves, but I think you have something you can lean on in the run game. With that offensive line, I thought they handled themselves well. They did give up a strip sack, but there was times when Joe Milton could have sat back there and ate a bowl of cereal.
He did. He did do that.
And maybe that kind of hurt him on some of those throws because he was flat-footed. He was pointing up. Like he had all the time in the world to throw off his mechanics. And, not a great day from him. I thought the first 2 drives, I was like, holy crap, we got something.
And I still believe there's something in that offense. I think a lot of people feel worse after Bowling Green because of a couple possessions, a couple quarters. But I mean, I think the fact that they did show a lot in the other 2 quarters, 2.5 quarters, I feel very positive going forward. That doesn't mean I think like my thoughts necessarily on the season haven't changed, but I feel better than maybe I did.
Yeah, and somebody told me today at work, there was nothing I saw from Joe Milton that just made me like, holy crap, that's terrible.
Yeah, some of the mechanics. I'm not nitpicking. I'm just saying, like, if you were gonna nitpick, maybe some of the mechanics in the pocket. But you mentioned that when the game gets faster, he won't even have time to do that. So, like, that hopefully isn't an issue.
Yeah. I mean, there was nothing that I was just like, holy crap, what are you doing? None of those head scratching plays. He held on to the football for the most part. Took care of it, except for that strip sack. That it is what it is. It's going to happen sometimes. The deep balls were missed, but they weren't just terrible throws.
They were thrown too, which is
right.
Positive.
Yeah, that was a positive, and it wasn't just like, oh, you have a wide open receiver, I'm going to throw it 10 yards out of bounds. Like it wasn't anything like that. So I think it's something to build on, and it's something new. It's kind of exciting to see if he can improve from the first week to the second week.
Well, and I think you, as far as like concerns about Joe Milton, of course, and Oreo Puppy Dog. I hate that I had to read that name. He just said 48% completion rate and couldn't complete downfield. No touch and no air. I mean, yeah, he has to work on the deep ball, and we knew he had the arm. We knew he had the arm strength. But I mean, I think it's assumed when a guy transfers from or into Tennessee right now that they were going to be. It wasn't going to be a first day Heisman candidate. Like I think everyone should have known that.
Mm-hmm.
And there were some concerns about his accuracy. I mean, he threw the ball well over the middle. And if we're going to talk about completion percentage, how many passes were just dropped? And
I think 3 or 4.
And so, but I was impressed with his accuracy over the middle. So, that's I think that when you're talking about accuracy as a quarterback, I'm not talking about like these weren't middle over the drag routes, like dink and dunk plays. I mean, they were down the field over the middle passes that I thought he threw the ball well on. So again, just like another positive that I think gives me more hope. Sure, he has to fix a lot of things. Sure, like I concede that. I don't think Tennessee's just an SEC East contender after beating Bowling Green by 32 points. They're one of the worst teams in college football. I know that. I just think there's a lot of hope to look for in Tennessee's offense. I think Tennessee's defense too.
Yeah, I agree with that. Let's kind of get off the offense. I mean, for the most part, I thought the offensive line controlled the line of scrimmage like they should.
And that's all you can ask for in that game. Like, how can you can't prove that you're better than the team you play next week. You can only prove you're better than the team you played that week, and they did that.
Yeah, and they proved that they can. I mean, it was a blowout. Like they won by 32 points. It's a blowout. They proved that they can win and blow out a team. Now, Bowling Green, is that anything to hang your hat on? Absolutely not. But I do think Bowling Green this year is a lot better than the Bowling Green we saw last year. I'll say that.
Yeah, and they may have, found an offensive weapon in. It's been so long, I'm gonna have to look at it. But the guy that they threw to all freaking night was that Osborne.
Yeah, I think he's a transfer.
Yeah. So may have found their go-to guy for the season, but yeah, nothing like you said, nothing to really hang your hat on. But you went and took care of business. You beat the team in front of you. On to the next one. You got to enjoy the wins though too. I mean,
yeah.
If you're looking at it from a fan perspective, you got to enjoy the wins.
I want to see more from the receivers. I think they got to get off press man. That's something they just didn't create a lot of separation. I don't think. In the game, not enough separation for me to feel confident on them. And then you mentioned the drop passes. That can't happen.
No. Yeah, especially the ones that hit you in the chest.
Right. Defensive line, I thought they played like, I mentioned before the game, dominate.
Yeah.
And that's talking about that defensive line, how we heard how big of a step they took from spring practice to fall camp. I thought they showed it. Now, again, it was Bowling Green. They don't have a good offensive line. They started a true freshman walk-on at center. I get it. But they did what they were supposed to do.
They did again, you can only beat the team that you're playing that night. They did that. When we, I don't know if we'll talk about it separately, talk about players that impressed. I mean, the offensive and defensive line, I thought just went out and took care of business. I thought they dominated for the most part. The offensive line had some moments where I thought, maybe they were honestly overly aggressive, reaching for guys on trying to remember who pulled and just didn't make a great attempt at blocking just because I felt like they were being a little too aggressive because you can't be diving at guys when you're a pulling guard. That's not your percentage to block at that point. It gets very, very low. You got to be patient in that sense. You got to be patient and aggressive, and I don't know if they were patient. But the defensive line I thought went out and they got to the quarterback. Elijah Simmons, he didn't get credited with a lot of tackles. Whoever the statistician is needs to hook him up with some assists. He was involved with a ton of plays in the middle, and just did a great job of making it hard to run the ball up the middle. And that's if you can take away that from a team, that's a win for the defensive, especially the interior line. That's a win.
Yeah, I thought that was big. You got some news right before the game that Byron Young wasn't going to play. I know that kind of maybe put a damper on that pass rush a little bit, but I thought Tyler Barron, Jaquan Blakely held their own. I thought Caleb Tremblay was good.
Caleb Tremblay, he impressed me more than I thought he would.
Yep. Elijah Simmons, Matthew Butler. I mean, there was a lot along that defensive line that really impressed me.
Yeah.
No, they're not. And, I mean, you got to take it with a grain of salt. I get it. But, they look – 10,000 times better than they did last season.
Yeah, and again,
it's Bowling Green. I get it.
Well, and last year they only played SEC teams.
Right.
So, but I will go back to 2019, and I know it's not entirely the same group, but I would say as a group, they're Tennessee and Bowling Green's not even just not an SEC opponent. There's a bad FBS opponent. But still, I don't know if there was a game that Tennessee's unit looked that good in 2019.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
props
to Rodney Garner for them being, terrible in spring practice, and for him getting the most out of that group and then performing the way they did the other night I was like, wow. I mean,
and fall practice, that's all you heard. I mean, that was the chat. So.
Yep.
Yeah, that's and then got a couple of people mentioning in the chat that there was the tackling was much better. I think someone even said the energy didn't seem that great on the Tennessee bench. Well, the Tennessee defense was flying around, really kind of led by Jalen McCullough. It felt like he was everywhere Thursday night.
And Theo Jackson,
sorry, not Jalen McCullough. Theo Jackson was the one that was everywhere. Jalen McCullough played a good game too. Had almost an interception.
Yeah, dude. But God. I said it before.
You did.
No more drop picks.
But it really did feel like I thought everyone was flying around. It felt like the defense was getting to the ball. And that's going to be big. I mean, that right there, flying around to the ball is not something that is dictated by the team you're playing. Flying around to the ball is something you can do every single day, no matter who's lining up across from you. And it's really going to help you, too, when you're playing guys that can make people miss or guys that can break tackles. That's when it really matters, but you got to do it every single day. It's a habit thing. And I felt like I thought the energy on the defensive side of the ball was pretty good.
Yeah, I did too. And I know they had some chunk plays given up in the second quarter, but it was kind of that bend, don't break. I mean, they didn't allow Bowling Green to get in the end zone, and they gave up 2 really long field goals. I think one was 50 yards. So, that's something you can really build on going into this Pitt game where, I don't think they're super explosive on offense.
They've got.
They're definitely going to be. Yeah, they're definitely going to be better than Bowling Green.
Well, I mean, I don't know if explosive is the right word, but I feel like they've got a lot to them. I feel like they can. Yeah, I think this Pitt offense is pretty. They're not going to be easy to stop. I know that. Like, I'm not even saying easier than Bowling Green. Like, they're not going to be easy to stop.
Right. And
especially, Tennessee's defense just isn't up to snub. I mean, you kind of saw that at the linebacker position on Thursday night. I would say everything going into the preseason that we thought, at least, and I'm sure most fans, is that the linebacker would be your weakest position, and that I think that was proven on Thursday.
Yeah, I thought Jeremy Banks played pretty well. I don't think Juwan Mitchell had his best game by any means. I don't even know if he had a tackle. But he just kind of looked a little slow, I guess, is the right word. Just didn't really jump off the page to me.
Right.
But I thought, Theo Jackson was definitely a bright spot. I did not see him being the defensive MVP of the game going into it. So I think that's huge to really get that production from your nickel guy, who's such a big part in this defense.
Yeah, absolutely. And we talked about too, I mean, the way Theo Jackson flew around, Alontae Taylor was getting to the ball really, really well and made some big hits, like you kind of expected him to. Interceptions, which Alontae Taylor didn't drop one, but two drop picks really. Jalen McCullough, and then it was a linebacker. No, was it Theo Jackson? It was on.
Maybe.
It was close to Bowling Green's end zone. I know that. So, yeah, I mean, you're right, Wes. They didn't show a whole lot defensively. I mean, and offensively, everything was pretty vanilla. So yeah, when you get a little bit more aggressive, which I hope is the case, I hope that wasn't normal play calling. Your defense gets more opportunities to make plays, but I thought they created plenty of opportunities to make plays. I mean, we're sitting here talking about 2 drop picks. They did have opportunities to get to the quarterback that they didn't quite finish out the play. But I mean, overall, I thought they played really, really well. And
Bowling Green was getting it out pretty quick. They weren't really giving Tennessee they weren't trying to throw it deep.
Right.
They weren't giving Tennessee the option to really get to the quarterback.
How many freaking jet sweeps did they run?
Yeah, it was a bunch of misdirection and stuff like that. Just kind of confused. I get it, but that's not going to win you a bunch of games doing that. So.
No, and it probably has to do with their opponent too, who they're playing and what they're trying to get. But yeah, I thought the defensive line was probably the brightest spot of the night.
Yeah, I would agree. Them or the running backs for sure.
That's a good point. The running backs I thought played really well. Maybe relying on, one specifically. One I know some guys got touches in there. Jalen Wright got plenty. But I mean, I thought they played really, really well. I'm curious to see if Jabari Small, how good is he kind of on his own? I don't know if they utilized that 1-2 punch that much. I don't think they did. But you saw him with another guy, so you got to wonder if he's the only one of those two on Saturday. He's going to get more carries, and how does he do on his own?
Yeah, I think Tyon was definitely the more explosive, big playability guy. But I think Jabari Small is very capable of being a great back in this league. I don't know what you see this week with. We've heard rumors of Tyon Evans. He is doubtful, but right. It seems like there may be a sickness issue in there. So we'll see what his status is come game time. But, you might see a bigger dose of Jabari Small and possibly a bigger dose of Jalen Wright. Now, who's that third guy is the most interesting thing to me coming into this week.
Yeah, definitely. I guess all the garbage time carries pretty much got to Marcus Pierce Jr. Is he the third guy, or was that just kind of game?
Thank you for your service.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you have to assume, or I guess your fourth guy on Thursday. But I guess you got to assume right now he is your third guy. But we'll see. You'll definitely. I think you'll find out against Pitt. It's not looking.
Do you want to see D Beckwith as that third guy?
Do I want to?
I think it's something different. Like I kind of think Jabari and maybe Jalen Wright. I know Jalen Wright's faster than Jabari Small, but those are kind of the similar style and backs. But I would love to see something different thrown in there, like a D Beckwith or a Laneith Whitehead.
Yeah, and I think D Beckwith can be used, pretty uniquely too. Whereas they did kind of, they threw the ball to Jalen Wright. I think they did, or they tried to. I don't know if he actually had it completed.
I think Jabari Small was the only one.
It was Javonte Payton that they were having. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, I think I don't know. We'll see. I'm not sure who that third guy or fourth guy, depending on situation with Evans this week and what happens there. Anybody else you specifically want to talk about that impressed before we do get into Pitt?
I like what I saw from Cade Mays, Javonte Spraggins. I thought Cooper played pretty well when he was in the game. We'll see kind of what his status is going into this week as well. It seems like he's kind of day to day, so we'll see. Something that was really weird to me was the linebackers. They were switching out linebackers. They were putting, every couple drives they'd put Salon Page and Aaron Beasley in. And I didn't really like that. And then it seems like every couple of drives they'd put Kenneth George Jr. in over Alontae Taylor. So I just thought that was interesting. Maybe the Dameon Pierce thing, maybe it's just like, thank you for, being here. It was just a weird dynamic of getting those guys reps when, just why? I just didn't understand it.
It's a preseason game. I mean, that's what these games are, preseason games.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe a thank you for your service thing there. Another thing I do, and this kind of goes into who impressed me. Like I hated on the linebackers, so I'll kind of walk back a little bit and say I thought Jeremy Banks did play good, especially in run support. I think, and this mattered with them running a lot of jet sweeps. I think the defense as a whole, whether it was a defensive lineman getting out into space and making this happen, or Theo Jackson, or linebackers, or I thought whoever's job it was, I thought the defense set the edge really, really well. Kept everything inside, allowed their the other 10 guys to make plays on it in between the hashes. I just thought whoever's job it was, any given play, I thought they did a good job setting the edge. I think there were a couple guys that were at corner that did it well. So I think it was kind of a group effort to do it. It wasn't just one guy that just did it exceptionally well. But Jeremy Banks, I think, had 2 big tackles where he just set the edge, kind of held the guy up in space and was able to make a play on it. So, I mean, if that's something that the defense is able to do all year, well, that helps you out a ton when you're playing great speed. Of course, it gets harder when you're playing great speed. But that's a big deal on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, I thought Cedric Tillman kind of impressed me too. I mean, he very easily could add 3 touchdowns on the night.
Yes.
So
Which
I mean,
gets me back into my preseason point of I'd rather have a good arm than a strong arm.
correct.
Say that.
Correct. Yeah, I thought he impressed. He got that separation. You know, he wasn't a guy that you are going to hear about, you know, as a burner like a lot of these guys are on this roster. But, you know, he was the one that they seemed to trust with the deep ball, just overthrew him.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, does it help having kind of those speedsters on the outside, you know, where that safety support kind of rolls to? Does that help free up Cedric Tillman? I mean, it did seem like they favored him on the deep balls, which I thought was interesting, but he was there.
Yeah. I think they're going to get a heavy dose of press man just because, you know, they did struggle a little bit getting separation. And that's what Pat Narduzzi loves to do is, you know, bring the house, stop the run, and play press man on the outside and force a quarterback to make really good throws to beat them. And with the completion percentage going back, I think they're really going to test Joe Milton this week.
Oh, yeah. And the way I thought he moved well in the pocket, but I mean, everybody's eyes were kind of set on him standing in the pocket. So curious to see how they attack him.
Well, I mean, he did run for 44 yards. So I was impressed with how he ran the ball. He did have 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people were, I guess, depressed about his speed, upset about his speed. I mean, there's no way you thought he was a speedster, right?
Yeah, he looks like a defensive end.
So, and I mean, that one touchdown, I guess a lot of people were upset with, you know, him not running as fast as he can. He wasn't trying to break a world record. He was just trying to get in the checkerboards.
Yeah.
So,
and he could have easily handed that off, and it would have went for a touchdown too.
Yeah, exactly. But before we get into Pitt, someone asked, do you guys think Bailey will ever see the field? I do not think the quarterback competition per se. Like, I don't think the quarterback's set in stone. I'll say that. Obviously, Joe Milton's your number one going forward, but I don't think that's, or, you know, as of now, but I don't think that's necessarily set in stone.
Yeah, I think he kind of like maybe that first game was kind of his coming out party to see if he would just take it over. And I don't think he really just did enough to, you know, put everybody out of there.
I think the job's still his to lose.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think he's going to lose it in a practice.
No.
So
it would be a game.
Good God. Tampa just had an incredible punt. I don't want to know the distance on that, and he put it inside the 2-yard line. That was incredible.
They punted already? Dang it.
That had to be a 52-yard punt.
We need them to win and win big.
That was just incredible. 65 yards? Holy freaking crap. Joe said it was a 65-yard punt. Oh, yeah, I'm on YouTube TV. I was like, how'd you figure that out so fast? I'm delayed. That's incredible. Golly. Sorry. I love a good special teams play, if you can't tell.
Joe plays the first 4 games no matter what. That's what Wes McLaughlin said.
I think this being your second game instead of like Tech, I mean, and he's not super, you know, like you said, I don't think he has just a stronghold on the position. I'm not saying you see Bailey, but I mean, I don't think you've necessarily seen the last of the quarterbacks. I hope Joe Milton just takes over. Like, that would be fantastic. That means you got a good quarterback.
Is Bailey going to redshirt?
I guess he still can he?
Yeah. And he would technically still be a freshman next year if he did. He'd be a redshirt freshman.
We'll see. I don't know. That's
hilarious. It seemed like Hendon Hooker was the next quarterback to go in.
Yeah.
So, you know, maybe that is something that they want to – because Joe Milton, I think, can be here next year as well, and then he'll be gone. So, be interesting.
Yeah, it definitely is. Heupel is bringing in his guy, though, if you want to look at it that way, as a freshman. So, pretty highly touted.
Yep.
But, you know, just saying.
Yeah,
we'll see. So, let's talk Pitt, though. Let's get into Pitt. We've sat on Bowling Green enough. Can't rest on the victories. You got to move on. 24 hours later.
Yeah, they won 51-10, I think, over
51-7. And what's funny, what I think is hilarious about this Tennessee and Pitt matchup is you have 2 teams playing that won in dominant fashions their first week that played 2 of the worst teams in college football.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, you can't really say anything about either one, really.
No, nothing's to tell. It's almost like it's still their first game.
Mm-hmm. Now, Kenny Pickett did have a better showing than Joe Milton when it looks at completion wise and stuff like that. He is a veteran guy. He seems like he's been there forever. I think this is his 5th or 6th year. I think it's his 5th year as a quarterback for Pitt. Played in like 40-something games or started 40-something games at Pitt. So he's definitely a guy you can lean on, a guy that they trust. And they got Lucas Kroll. I think he was a Florida tight end and transferred to Pitt. He's going to be, a matchup for Tennessee that Tennessee's got to take care of. He had 5 receptions for 58 yards and a touchdown against UMass. That's going to be a big thing for, I think, our safeties, Jalen McCullough, Trayvon Flowers, and also the nickel and Theo Jackson to really cover him up. But, I was super impressed with Theo Jackson, so I think he's up for the challenge.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely – I don't think the Tennessee defense is completely out of it. I think another thing, Kroll is obviously going to be a big part of it, but, I mean, this Pitt offense does have it, and they spread the ball around in week 1. They have Kroll. They have Jordan Addison, I think he was the freshman of the year in the ACC maybe. Had a big year, like 670 yards receiving. So still have him on the roster. They returned their running back, Hammond. So, I mean, like they've just got a ton to kind of look to. Now, do I think those guys are all world guys? Not necessarily. But, I mean, I think Pitt's going to have a ton of options come Saturday. Like, it's going to take a lot for Tennessee to slow their offense down.
Yeah, I mean, I think they allowed only 42 rushing yards on defense. I think they were 3rd in the nation last year in rushing defense. So, Pat Narduzzi, their head coach, is going to take away Tennessee's or attempt to take away Tennessee's rushing game, which they rushed for 326 yards in week 1. And he's going to play press man. He's going to make the receivers create separation. He's going to make a quarterback that struggled a little bit in week 1, only had 1 completion in the second half, go out and beat them.
Yeah, and that I don't know a ton about the Pitt's defense. So it's gonna be kind of interesting to see how everyone's talked about how Narduzzi really likes to key up those blitzes and I said it last week. Like people were texting me during the game, like, what is going on with Joe Milton? Like literally sitting in the pocket. I was like, I mean, I think a lot of that has to do with speed of the game because he did a good job when he got pressure, moving around, finding space. So I said, and I don't think it happens overnight, which is unfortunate. Like it's definitely something that needs to be addressed and fixed. But it's like, when it's fast, I don't see how he even has the mindset of stopping his feet. So really interesting to see this week how he handles the blitzes, after what you saw last week of some maybe questionable technique.
Yeah, and I don't think Tennessee wants to get anywhere near like having a bunch of 3rd and longs against this Pittsburgh defense, especially with what you mentioned, the Tom blitzes. They're going to bring the house. I mentioned they had one of the best defenses in the country last season. They lost some guys, but they got a veteran front 7. So they definitely want to utilize.
Did they get a defensive transfer in too? I think they got a linebacker from Penn State.
Okay.
I don't know where he ranks I don't know where he ranked at Penn State. I don't know where he ranks kind of now with the Pitt defense. But I think they did get a guy in. So
interesting.
I'll have to double check that though.
But I was reading about Pitt and I was like, yeah, they're good. They're a good team. They're supposed to have a good season this year. But I mean, I wasn't super impressed that they went 5-5 last season in the ACC.
No, and I think Wes just kind of said it too. In my thoughts on them, they're not great everywhere or anywhere, but they're pretty solid everywhere. I think that's a great description of Pitt, and I think that's what makes them a challenging opponent for Tennessee. Like if there were some areas that they were good or great in that kind of favored Tennessee, that played to Tennessee's strengths, I think that gives Tennessee a good opportunity on Saturday. I think Pitt's going to be too much at once for Tennessee. Like I think they've got enough that if one guy's not really bringing it today, there's another guy there on the other side of the ball to kind of bring him back. And so I think that presents more of it. Like I would almost rather them have like a great quarterback, but no running back and maybe one receiver. Like I'd almost rather them have something like that. Like one guy, we're going to bank on one guy beating us. Like make it happen. I mean, I know it's happened a lot lately, so I realize that's a bad statement I'm saying, but I just feel like there's going to be too much for Pitt.
Yeah. You do have coaches that have faced this Pitt team. I think Josh Heupel did in 2018 and 19 at UCF. And then you had Tim Banks face Pitt from 2016 to 2019 at Penn State. So at least you have some familiarity with this team. I mean, it is a different team, but they do have the same coach, I think, same offensive coordinator. So you have some guys that have faced this Pitt team, and hopefully they're prepared for them, because I think the thing I'm worried about most is something that maybe I shouldn't be, but I think it's the offensive line. I think it's our rush offense against their rush defense.
Yeah.
I think it's protecting Joe Milton, not giving up a strip sack, turnovers, stuff like that. So I think it's going to be a big challenge for our offensive line. But there is talent up there on that offensive line where I kind of feel okay about it too.
Yeah, and you got to worry about Cooper Mays probably not playing. Pretty
and then
impressive.
Tyon as well.
And of course, Tyon Evans. But I think the offensive line, they still have a lot to prove. Again, glad they went out and beat the opponent in front of them on Thursday. But now you got to go beat the next guy, the guy that's in front of you on Saturday. So, and that's going to be your real test. So I hope they do it. I think if they set that tone, makes it a lot easier, especially if Evans isn't there, because I think Jabari Small is going to have to make probably make a ton of plays at the line of scrimmage where he's either making a guy miss, shedding a tackler. I think it's going to be a tall task for the running backs to be as effective as they were last weekend.
Yeah, I agree. And Pat Narduzzi did say, and I've had some people say some stuff to me about this, because I fired off a tweet about Pat Narduzzi's comments about the.
I was going to ask you about those comments.
Yeah, he basically just said what any coach would probably say in that situation is, we'll be prepared for it. It shouldn't be a problem. And which I get that, but
listen, I think Neyland Stadium's a special environment. I don't know about a noon. I legitimately don't know if a noon game is not going to present the same kind of problems that an 8 o'clock or a 6 o'clock kickoff would. 7 o'clock.
No, I get that, but it is different than last year they didn't play in front of a crowd, or 5 games they didn't, and then the time they did, it was at Clemson. They had 18,000 people there.
And how many of his guys have been on airplanes before? Is he factoring in that?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you got to factor in everything. And it wasn't a shot at Pat Narduzzi. I don't necessarily disagree.
But also Pat Narduzzi.
Right, yeah. That's a challenge to us.
Well, that's another thing too. You said every coach says that, and I guess they kind of do. It's because every coach, I feel like
they're saying they're prepared for anything.
Yeah. I feel like that's always a question when teams go to big stadiums. It's can you guys handle the crowd noise? And I think it's hilarious, because in football, how much communication truly happens through word of mouth, especially nowadays with all the signals, with the silent count. It's just funny because, yeah, sure, your communication is, different, but it's not really that different.
Yeah, I don't know if it does communication, but I feel like it can from a momentum standpoint. If you get a big turnover and you get another big turnover and it's just pounding on top of you, that's hard to overcome.
Well, I'm not even discrediting completely crowd noise, because even in 2015, Oklahoma had to refigure out their snap count at the line of scrimmage. So it's I don't think it's completely just out of the realm of possibilities but that's also one of the loudest games I've ever heard, and a lot of people have ever heard. So that's a standout moment. But no, yeah, I fully believe there's nothing worse, and I've felt it so many times in my life, than feeling the air get sucked out of Neyland. And I feel if I can feel it, those dudes on the field can feel it.
Oh yeah, 100%.
That BYU catch, I knew we lost right then and there, and it still had an overtime to go.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know of any really. Oh, the Georgia game in 13. Oh, that one was brutal. The Pig Howard fumble, that one, the air that I don't know if anyone said a word. No one was even F this, F that, leaving the stadium. I think everyone was just so, because that was a sad moment. That was it wasn't even angry. It wasn't even angry. No one, the ref probably made the right call, so you're not even that mad at the ref. You're you can't be mad at Pig. It's just
you're just mad that you're a Tennessee fan that day.
You're just so sad. That was a funny one. No, funny to look back on how just the circumstances of it. Yeah, so I'm 100% with you on the energy from the crowd. The energy from the crowd, in my opinion, is way more, which it plays into sound, is way more of a deterrent, I guess, to a team than the actual physical sound.
Right. And Neyland Stadium is just different than, the ACC schools. I'm sorry, but they are. It's just different. So you might be well prepared. You might be throwing in Rocky Top and crowd noise at your practices, but when it comes to the real game, I think it's going to be different for them, and that's more of a challenge at our fan base, our student section. Joe, that means you.
Better bring it.
Yeah, gotta be ready for Pitt this week. Hopefully that comment just stirred the pot a little bit. Bulletin board material.
That's like, why as a coach, why would you even say stuff like that? Like, what's the point?
Yeah,
like, what do you have to gain from it?
Right.
Also, I find music playing at a practice way more obnoxious than any crowd could ever be to me. So, like, if I was that player, I would, a lot of people like the music at practice. Like, sure, music's fine, but like the deafening where you can barely hear the music because the speaker's so loud, that is miserable to me.
So, getting to the game experience, the light show, was it even considered a light show?
I didn't. I mean, I watched it on TV. I didn't see enough of it. The pictures with the fireworks, though, and the lights, like,
that's cool. But like, it wasn't like they just played them throughout. Like, they just showed the lights throughout, but it wasn't like it didn't get dark.
Yeah, but I don't think it should. So
no. I agree, but it wasn't like a light show.
Yeah, I think maybe that term might have been overused.
Like, it wasn't like the Georgia or Alabama thing, I don't think.
I'd have to go back and watch Georgia and Alabama's. Alabama's was
it got pretty
cool. But like it was like their orange or their red lights were still completely on. And I think Georgia was the same way.
Yeah.
So I don't know about with Tennessee's. But my question is too, like, and I don't know what those other schools have as far as like around the bowl, but like Tennessee's LED boards, like if you drive by and just the LED boards are on, it's like you can see the light coming out of me. Like it's not as bright as the lights, but it's very, very, very bright.
Right.
It's like, I don't know if those stayed on and just, didn't allow it to get very dark, or I don't know.
And then after the third quarter, we played freaking Kenny Chesney.
Dude, it pisses me off that like anytime anything cool's happening at Tennessee, whoever's in charge is like, how can we make this not fun anymore for anybody? You could have pulled every mother effort in that thing. What song you want playing at the end of the third quarter? Friends in Low Places. Every single person.
Yeah, and like, I guess it was, they try to make it more Tennessee because they had Peyton Manning when he was younger singing with him at Kenny Chesney's show in Neyland Stadium, but it was just like, Kenny sucks. No one likes Kenny.
A lot of people love Kenny, which shocks me, but it's not like, if they had traded it out for like, if Kenny Chesney was like an actual Tennessee fan, okay, whatever. But like, he's a
Morgan Wallen's a bigger Tennessee fan than
not after his Alabama. I guess he's the only Tennessean to F Alabama in the last 15 years.
He wears more Tennessee stuff than Kenny Chesney ever thought about wearing.
No, I mean, like, I get what Kenny's doing. He has to pander to the, it's how he makes money. Whatever, that's fine. I get that. I wouldn't do it because I'm a real Tennessee fan, but I get it. So, but like, why are you playing? What song was it? Back Where I Come From?
Yeah.
At least it was that one.
Yeah.
At least it was that one. If we're gonna pick one, at least it was that one.
But I mean, like, it was.
But Friends in Low Places, I feel like describes the.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Friends in Low Places. That was just a banger, and you went from a banger to like, okay, that's a pretty good song.
Like if the
but it's Kenny Chesney, like him wearing the Alabama stuff. Like, no one wants him playing.
Yeah, but if the South End Zone had its own theme song, like the concourse of the South End Zone, it would be Friends in Low Places.
Yeah. Or maybe the Tennessee program in general for the last 20 years.
That's fair. That's fair. There's something else I was going to ask about Pat Narduzzi. I don't remember. This will be my first time back in Neyland since November of 2019. I am fired up. I mean,
you coming in tomorrow night?
I'll be in late tomorrow night. Got to get some stuff together, finalize some stuff for the tailgate. So I'll do that tomorrow night. But yeah.
Cool.
Be up late.
Get up early.
Get up early. We'll be there 7 a.m.
7 a.m.
Be there, be square. Can't wait.
Johnny Majors.
We haven't even talked about it. Freaking orange pants. It got announced right before we hopped on here.
Orange britches, baby.
They're back. I can't wait. That
Tracy
makes
Smith, I'm sure, is heated.
I wish I wish I had orange pants now. I really do. I have orange sweatpants. I have to,
How orange are they? They real
oh,
orange?
they're Tennessee. They're Tennessee.
Okay.
sweatpants,
Okay.
yeah. I don't wear them often.
Yeah, it's hard to kind of pull off just orange pants out in public.
Yeah, it's not easy.
That reminds me of the red pants we got our sophomore year
I never wore them.
of football. I mean, we look like Santa's elves. Run around with a red hoodie and a red sweatpants. We look terrible.
Yeah, we did. Plaid suit coat. If I had a good, I still have jacket, plaid jacket. I had to bust that out in honor of Coach Majors.
I got a plaid jacket. Not like it's not like an old school one. It's kind of nice.
Yeah, you need a John. What do you mean? Johnny Majors looked fantastic. Johnny Majors was a.
I mean, it's like I didn't mean to say nice. It was like new. It's not like vintage.
You can tell it's from this era.
Yeah, I think it's Michael Strahan collection. If that tells you.
He bought suits for the entire Jackson State team.
Dang.
Yeah.
Jackson State's like rolling in it, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
They got more money than Tennessee does. I bet they could get a crane.
They're still working on getting names on the back of their jerseys.
No, that's true. I bet they could get a crane though. They could take down some pictures.
I bet they could get a crane. I could get a crane.
So who you got?
Oh, dang it. I kind of forgot about predictions. I've got Pitt. I'll say that. I've got Pitt winning. I think they score a fair amount too. I'm trying to decide if Tennessee gets into the 30s, and that kind of – I just don't know how much Pitt wins. But I guess I should say just Pitt 37.
Damn.
And I'm gonna say Tennessee 30. 7 points, Pitt covers. Yeah, I think Pitt covers.
I'm going to say 27-24.
Okay, a little bit low scoring.
Yeah, I'm going to say
over.
No, I'm going under this game for sure. I'm going to go Pitt. I want to go Tennessee. After those orange pants, I wanted to switch it, but
prove me wrong. Please prove me wrong.
I think that's my thing. Is like Tennessee's got to prove they can win a big game. And I mean, it's kind of sad we're thinking of Pitt as a big game, but I think it is a big game for this program.
Yeah, it's a big game. If anybody wants to, bull crap it, and if they want to act like this in a big game, those are the same kind of dudes that walk into a bar and think they can pick up the hottest girl there. And
yeah, how do you think they honor Johnny Majors besides like a video tribute?
I don't know what they're gonna do. I was hoping there would be some kind of like at least like a patch or something like that both teams wore.
You think Heupel has a suit coat?
No chance. No chance. That would be awesome. If somebody wants to get in his ear about that, I mean, that would be fantastic.
Who did that with? Oh, Malzahn did it with Pat Dye.
Yeah,
that's right.
He wore the hat and the yeah. Did he wear a tie? I guess he did.
Yeah, I think he did.
Yeah, that would be very cool. I mean, I was hoping they could. I don't get Tennessee's. I mean, Tennessee just needs to go the BYU route. They need to have several versions of like the orange and white that they've had throughout the years that they can wear any given time.
Yeah.
So I hate that they didn't have a Johnny Majors jersey from his coaching days. Playing days would have looked a little goofy with the sleeves, but like a Johnny Majors tribute.
But you could have made it more like modern.
Yeah, but they were literally just plain with like sleeves down to the elbow, which I guess you could have done, and that would have been fine too. But I feel like they were honoring this game because of his coaching legacy, since he coached at Pitt as well. So like coaching would have made sense in my mind. But yeah, I mean, it would have been really cool if they had found kind of more like if they're going to dub it and make money off of his name, because they're selling shirts, so they're making money off Johnny Major's name again. It would have been nice to like see cooler, I guess, aspects of it rather than just throwing a logo together to sell it.
Yeah, I agree. Like, and those shirts, I mean, 100% cotton. If I get a large, I'm gonna wash it once. It's gonna get dried, and then I'm never gonna be able to wear it again. It's gonna become my wife's t-shirt. So, yeah, just I hope they do something. You know, the best thing I could think of was giving him the Heisman or presenting his family with the Heisman that he actually deserved.
that would be good. Maybe they could get back to the beer barrel. Whiskey.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, bring it out for this game.
Oh, he would love that.
That's a. No, I think it'd be nice if they could find a cool way to do it, but I don't have any faith right now. And just like I don't have faith in necessarily how this team performs on Saturday, I still don't have faith in this athletic department as a whole. So, sorry, Danny White, nothing against you, bro. Prove me wrong.
Did I hear where he bought Butch Jones's old house?
No way.
Somebody said that.
I think it was on the market well after he moved here, but I mean, I guess they could have been living in like just a temporary house. I never heard that.
Okay. Maybe if you know that, please let me know because I want to find out if that's true or not because that's law.
It's a nice house. I'd buy it.
Yeah, but
and he got it way marked down, didn't he? I mean, if they were.
Oh yeah, it's been on the market forever.
So maybe he did. Maybe he's just a.
Or maybe they wouldn't go down on the price. Who knows?
Maybe I don't know. I'm not sure at all. I hadn't heard that. Anything else for the Johnny Majors game? Anything else you want to see? Are you going to go get fully vaxxed before?
Yeah, I'm already fully vaxxed.
What a weird, I guess they're just trying to encourage it. Hey, before you walk into the stadium, why don't you come over here and get a vaccine?
Yeah, and what if it's their first one? Does that, or which one are they going to get? Are they going to get the Pfizer?
Yeah,
because you have to come back in 2 weeks. Are they trying to sell another ticket for 2 weeks?
That's what it is. That's another thing is if it's my second shot, I heard the second shot is the one that kicks your ass. I'm gonna pass out in the stadium because you don't have enough water to sell.
Oh yeah, 100%. My dad, I was at a baseball game. My dad basically had to carry me to the car because I could not walk after the second one. So I know it affects people differently. Apparently, if you got a good immune system, it really beats you up, which I don't understand, but somebody told me that. So,
I'm screwed then.
Yeah, some people felt nothing. I was like, dude, I was on my deathbed.
Well, I don't know. We'll see. Find out.
Maybe take some tequila shots.
Ooh, there you go. Get prepped.
Yeah, and then go get the vaccine.
All right, I'm in. That sounds like a good time to me.
I'm excited, though. I wish it wasn't a noon game. I feel like you could have done something more for teams that don't really play each other that's honoring Johnny Majors. I feel like it shouldn't be a noon game, but here we are.
It'll be fun. Tailgating will be fun. Game day atmosphere will be fun. I think there's going to be a lot of people there. I don't know if it tops Bowling Green. It's supposed to be pretty. It's supposed to be 81 degrees, so water shouldn't be an issue. We'll see. I'm excited.
Knock on wood.
Knock on wood. I hope it's. Well, it was raining. It rained last night, and I got up and I was like, I swear, if it's supposed to rain Saturday, I will murder someone. I will I will do it. I've waited so long for Saturday. I refuse to wait anymore.
We got cornhole boards, shot ski. We're gonna have the TV going. It's gonna be fun. I'm excited.
I'm gonna try to find a way to multi-stream.
Well, yeah. What sucks about the TV is
three TVs, 4 TVs if you want.
There's no game. It's just going to be College Game Day.
College Game Day. Hey, and dang it, we're in an international window. I was about to say, Landon, there'll be EPL on.
My statement stands. I have been trying to dip. Baseball just sucks betting, so I have been trying to dip into some soccer.
There you go. Bet the overs.
Bet the overs. Yeah, I did bet on USA last night. The over.
That was a late hit too.
Yeah, thank God they scored 3 in the 75-minute plus.
I went to bed thinking we lost or tied.
Yeah, so that was good. And I have bet on tennis too. U.S. Open.
Wow,
I took Djokovic to win the whole thing. So
how's that going?
He's in the semis, so
perfect.
He plays tomorrow, and then championships on Sundays. We'll figure out if I won $30 or not.
Excellent. I like it.
Love it.
Let's talk about, speaking of betting, college football. Who you got this week? Who are your locks?
My locks?
Oh, whoa. EPL's back this Saturday? I got to go set my fantasy lineup. Thank you. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, that's Jose.
Thank you, Jose. Oh, crap. I'm glad you said that. I'm already sucking in fantasy, so I really don't want to lose any more than I have to.
This week I got my lock for the week. South Carolina money line over ECU. It's ECU. I mean, I know they're a pretty decent team.
Wait, what's the money line at?
They were at -2, so it was like 120, 130.
Okay.
So yeah.
You won't even take the spread at that?
Mm-hmm. Nope.
You won't take them at 2. They just got to win by field goal. That's more money.
I'm hammering money line, baby.
Okay. All right. Hey, you do you. I'm not here to force anybody's hand. My first lock, and this is an easy one. You guys should have known it. Over. Coastal Carolina and Kansas. Take it. Why? I mean, why? Why even think twice about it? Take it. 52 and a half. Coastal's going to score 45 on their own. We just need Kansas to sprinkle in a couple points.
Okay.
Coastal may not score 45 on their own, by the way, guys. This will be a tougher test, but I've got faith. They score.
My next lock is I'm going under Tennessee Pitt. I like it.
Okay.
I like the under. I know life's too short to bet the under, but I just 57. That's a lot of points for teams that, number one, I think Tennessee's defense looks pretty decent so far. We'll see. Hopefully they don't prove me wrong. But I think Pittsburgh's defense is also pretty good. So I'm going under.
Okay. My next one was A&M and Colorado over 50 and a half. I got to think those two teams score more than 25 apiece, or, enough to get to 50. I firmly believe that'll happen.
Yep.
A&M looked a little slow, sluggish. They played – who'd they play? It was a small team, low team. And then I think Colorado gets their fair share. So I think 50 and a half is easy over.
Okay. I also got Michigan -6.5 over Washington. Washington's coming off a loss to Montana.
It's true.
So I like Michigan to at least win by a touchdown.
Okay, that's fair. That kind of gets into my South Carolina point. But I kind of want to go ECU money line. I wish it was better. It's only like plus 100. Like it's only money back. It's plus 106.
Yeah, I just think at the end of I think Doty's back, and then Zaquandre White is, he's an SEC back. So I think they just kind of dominate later on in the game.
Fair. I probably would have just taken Carolina though spread, but
to cover. Yeah, I mean you can, but it's not a lock.
That's fair.
We want locks. We want free money, Caleb.
Landon's only taking locks. I like it. My next one is Miami -8.5. They are playing Appalachian State. I just got to think Miami beats them by a little more than a touchdown. That's it. That's my expert opinion.
Yeah, I'm staying away from this game. I did. App State was one of my locks last week, and they won it for me. So I'm going to stay away from it. Chase Bryce is at App State. He was at Clemson. Then he was at Duke, and now he's at App State. He was 20 for 27. Just gotta stay away. I was not impressed with Miami at all.
Yeah, but who are they playing?
True, but still, they didn't show me anything that I was just like, that makes me feel confident.
That's fair, but it's again expert opinion. It's App State.
It is App State.
My very last one, and this is just me betting against Florida. South Florida to cover 28.5. I don't know if Florida can just. I don't know if they'll just put the gas pedal on anybody.
Okay.
After last week, yeah, we'll see. It's a lot of points. It's a lot of points.
It is a lot of points.
It's a lot of points.
I wanted to take Ohio State -13.5. I think it's up to 14.5 now against Oregon because I think Kayvon Thibodeau might be out. But they made me sweat it out last week, so I'm going to stay away from it.
You're not touching it. Yeah. Wes, he said I love Iowa. I assume he means the Iowa State game. Iowa's at +4.5. I kind of gotta agree, but I don't know if I'm willing to call it a lock, Wes.
I want to go. I want to go Iowa money line. I'm going to throw some money on it.
Yeah, that's okay. I think I'm going to go opposite here than Carolina. I think I'm going to go Iowa just to cover 4.5.
Okay.
But I mean, I don't hate the Iowa. I don't think either of those are a lock. I think
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it's a lock if they go. If I
It's just
go,
a good way
go
to
cover.
win some money. Yeah.
But I do. Yeah, I think they're. I think I'm with Wes in that. I love Iowa. I'm a big Hawkeye guy. What can I say?
Hawkeye. Joe, you got any locks? You got any picks that you like this week?
I mean, Ohio State, if I could have caught it at 13.5.
Okay. I like
13.5
that.
scares me. I don't know. I feel like didn't Stroud have like 4 touchdowns or something? I mean, he looked I think he only had like 13 completions, but
Yeah.
I like Iowa plus 4.5. I would maybe make that a lock. I mean, I don't know.
Lock it. Lock
Okay.
it in.
Lock it
It's
down.
an away game, but I don't know.
It's not
I-
a far travel, so
No.
Right. If you
But
want to get off on the money line, I mean, it wouldn't be.
Iowa State just scares me because they started off really slow like that last year too.
Yeah.
This is just the second game though. I don't know. We'll see. We'll find out. That's good news.
any more, Joe? Is that all you got? Is that your only one?
Oh, yep. Okay.
Kind of cut out. Also want to get your prediction with the Tennessee game. Who you got? Tennessee. Sorry, man. I didn't get you before you got back out.
I mean, you want my honest answer, or you want me like
I want honest Joe.
knowing what I've done every single year, where I get my hopes up for like something that like maybe won't happen.
That's
I'd
where
say
I'm at. Yeah.
Pitt wins by like 3 to 10 range, like something in there. I don't think we'll get blown out or anything, but I'd love
Yeah.
to say Vols win by like 50 and just trample them and play going crazy. But
Yeah,
like
those orange pants got you thinking that 50 points.
Right.
Right?
yeah, no, I've got my orange pants already ready for Saturday.
There you go.
I want a 50 burger. I'm sorry. I want a 50 burger.
I didn't get it last week, so I want a 50 burger this week. That's what I'm demanding.
If they get a 50 burger, I'm going to lose on the under. That's going to make me a little sad, but I'll take it.
This is why we don't bet on Tennessee, Landon.
No, I can't do it.
I did bet on Pitt, so I'll get a win either way.
There you go. There's always that option, just like
Yeah, throw it. Spring. Yeah, I'm gonna
There's
leave.
also a loss either way, too. I mean,
Right. It's truly setting yourself up for failure. Truly.
Yep.
I don't
right.
have any more good bets. I need them to open up some weird FCS betting so I can get in on that action.
there's not a ton of great games this week either.
There's not. There's really not. I think that. So I do like Ohio State too, like Joe mentioned. But I think that Ohio State Oregon game could be pretty good.
Yeah, you can get that alternate bet. It's probably like 120, 130. Alternate spread, 13.5.
Oh, that's a noon game too. God, what is this bull crap?
This is
still be a
bullish.
lot of points, but I see it at 64 right now, and that's like I don't know. I don't know though. I sprinkled
Ohio
on
State-
it.
Yeah, I don't hate 64.5. Honestly, I don't hate it. I don't know if I definitely won't lock it in. I don't know if I hate that.
Which one?
Ohio State. Yeah.
Oh, 6. Okay. You would like the over?
I mean, I don't. I just feel like Fresno was able to get a decent amount up on Oregon. Like Ohio State's offense looked decent once they got past the interception and stuff. And I don't know. If
I
Ohio
just don't
State-
know if Oregon can score enough to get to that.
No, I was thinking if Ohio State falls at like somewhere in the 35 range, I don't know if Oregon can keep their end of the deal up with 30.
Right.
That's fair. Will that two other games, are they going to be good? Is the Colorado A&M game going to be good? I guess that may mean A&M's not for real. If so, because I don't know what Colorado has. Then you also have Texas and Arkansas. Little SEC game.
I like Texas -7.
Like Texas -7. They do got a true freshman quarterback. That makes me nervous. Against the Sam Pittman defense. I don't love it, but
Oh, a Sam
Arkansas-
Pittman defense. Credited him?
oh yeah, that's Sam Pittman.
Yes, sir.
No, I guess it's Barry. I guess that defensive line is Sam Pittman. He's a line guy. I think he's
then-
offensive line anyway. But
Then you got the Mormon Bowl this week. Utah and BYU.
yeah, Utah minus. I like Utah on that one. If
Well,
I get
that's a
a
late
6.5,
game. Heck
yeah. But yeah, Zach Wilsonless BYU, lock it.
Does Vanderbilt have to get whooped in their own stadium again?
Who do they play?
Home game, Colorado State.
Oh, aren't they like a big underdog?
I can look at it.
It's like sad.
Just -7 or just 7 points.
That's still sad.
I mean, it's not great. But
I mean, dude, that is hilarious. I cannot stop laughing at that.
the mistakes they made were truly hilarious. Like they were truly hilarious. Like it
They're
looked
just trying to lose the game.
Some of their mistakes looked like a middle school football game. It was awesome. ETSU took advantage of them, man. They did not hold back.
Yeah, what about freaking
I think
Randy Shannon?
Randy Sanders. Whoa.
Oh, why did I say Shannon?
I don't know.
Randy Sanders. Did you see his speech after the game?
Very weird. Very
Yeah,
weird speech.
I thought he would be a lot more hyped up about it.
And they showed the whole thing. They showed the whole thing. I was like, all right, just turn it off. Like,
yeah, it's very cringe.
Well, it's just like the classic what a coach says to a team after a win. I thought he was going to be like, F Vanderbilt.
Yeah, that'd been hilarious.
So, it was I was like, can we please turn this off? I watched the whole thing, unfortunately, because I thought, like I was with you, I thought at some point it was going to get very hype, but.
Right.
Real quick, do you guys like Kentucky -5.5?
Yeah, I did put that in a parlay. I like that.
I like Missouri.
I like
Missouri. Yes.
Missouri just didn't impress me
They
last
did not.
week.
They did not look good last week. So like this is all just gut feeling. Throwing the brains out the window like I do for most of my gambling.
But yeah, I could see them. I could see Kentucky winning by a touchdown.
Yeah, home game. I mean,
They just dominate the line of scrimmage, just run the ball down their throats.
I decided not to bet on it, so that's how confident I am in my Missouri pick.
I put it in a parlay, so we'll see what happens. Also, like Liberty over Troy money line. I think it was at like 150. I put that in a parlay too. Just throw it in there.
I need to do my teaser. I'll do that tonight. I may put Kentucky in that teaser. I wonder what I can tease them down to.
Just money line. You can get them at like +1.
I guess it would get it at +1.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know. I don't know if I've ever taken a team from minus to plus. I have to look. I haven't done enough gambling. More gambling is in my future to figure this out.
Right.
Okay. Any questions? Do we have any?
That's all I got. I didn't.
I saw someone ask for our score predictions, but we've already given those. So.
Yeah, I can just check and make sure, see if we got anything. I don't have any. So
Vanderbilt is truly pitiful.
Dude, I mean that was the worst showing I've ever. That was way worse than a Georgia State loss.
Well, I mean, just speaking relative, yeah, it is, and everything about it was truly hilarious.
They got whooped.
They got whooped. And what's his name? He looks like he just looks annoying. He looks like a Notre Dame guy. Yeah, he looks like a Notre Dame guy. I have nothing personal against him. I just hate him because he's a Vanderbilt coach. Truly hate him for that reason.
You find a reason to hate him.
Did you see that stuff going around about, so someone was like, is Rocky Top the best fight song ever? Which is hilarious that it's hilarious that people don't think well, here's the sad part. A lot of Tennessee fans don't know that Rocky Top's not the fight song. And that's okay. Like, I'm not hating. It's fine. But it's hilarious the amount of fans or the amount of like other teams fans that make fun of us for being like, you don't know. It's like, I mean, it doesn't matter. The schools adopted it and we sing it, and it's our song now. The fans have adopted it. It's like, you don't make fun of Virginia Tech. Like, you think Virginia Tech running out to a totally different song is the coolest tradition in all of college sports. But it has a song that has nothing to do with the school, nothing to do with the state of Virginia, nothing to do with football, nothing to do with anything. And you're like, oh, that's cool. They run out to Interstate. No, if you can't in one sentence hate Rocky Top because it's not the fight song, and then love the Enter Sandman tradition. You can't.
Right. Yeah. I'm not a big fan of the Enter. I
think it's incredibly hype. I think it's cool. I think it's like Jump Around at Wisconsin. Like
Jump Around Wisconsin was cool.
It's the same idea. Like people getting really, really loud and like all moving around at the same time, so the place is shaking. But that doesn't make it the best entrance in college football.
Right. And I don't think I feel like the USC thing is just as good as
it's the same.
Sandman. Yeah. Yeah.
It's really, really cool. It's not It's not one of the
One
best.
thing that I would like to experience, and I wouldn't wear their colors, but I might wear like a black shirt, but like a Penn State game at night with
I would
like
love
the whiteout.
I would love to be at a whiteout at Penn State. I would
That'd
love
be dope.
That is. Do not use those words out of context. I would love to be at a whiteout at Penn State. I want to go to a Michigan-Ohio State game at the Big House. I want to go to the Iron Bowl at either stadium. I want to go to a Rose Bowl.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of some like historically great game. I want to go. This is a weird one. I want to go to a Harvard-Yale game.
If you build it, nerds will come.
That's like a historically, it's been forgotten because they're so irrelevant. But like that's like one of like the first true football rivalries of college football.
Yeah.
And like they take it really, like Harvard and Yale people take it really, really serious. Like it's a real, like if you ask like a Harvard grad, of course they have to if you ask like a guy that like went to Harvard that knows football, like if you ask Ryan Fitzpatrick, like how many times has Harvard beaten Yale in the last 20 years, he'll rattle it off. Not even a second thought.
It's like a Cornell thing.
Yeah.
In the office.
Exactly.
He's that mad about it.
I would love to go to a Harvard Yale game. I would love to go to a Georgia Florida rivalry if they ever stop playing it in Jacksonville. It needs to be a home and home.
Yeah, it's stupid.
But other than that, I'm very disinterested. So count me out.
Yeah, I think the Iron Bowl would be cool.
I would love to go to Iowa. Are they in Ames? I'd love to go to a game at Iowa at night. I would love
that'd be cool.
I'm trying to think of any other stadiums. I would like to go to a Red River rivalry. I know they play neutral site, don't they?
Yes.
So.
Where do they play at?
I'm looking it up. I'm not sure. Red River Showdown.
Is that what it's called? I thought it was a rivalry.
I did too. That's the website. They're playing in Dallas this year.
Okay.
I don't know where it historically is. It says returning to Dallas. Cotton Bowl Stadium. Does that sound right?
So maybe they switch it up.
Maybe. That would be a cool rivalry to go to, of course. I don't know if I'd really want to go to I don't care to go to any game out west other than the Rose Bowl, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything for two college football teams.
Yeah, if I want to go to sleep, I'd watch a Nebraska-Wisconsin game. Exactly.
I would. You'd have to take me back to 2005. I would love to go to a USC Notre Dame game. That would be cool. Now I don't care, but in 2005, that would have been awesome.
Is the Rose Bowl gonna be is the UCLA USC rivalry gonna be better now that it looks like UCLA is a lot better than they have been?
It could be. But USC's got to hold up their end of the bargain, and I have zero faith in in Clay Helton.
They covered though, didn't they?
They may have, but as a program, I have zero faith in them. Zero.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm out. I'd love to go to a really, really good Tennessee-Alabama game in Neyland. I'll probably never get to experience that in my life. That would be cool though. But it's so weird that we've been to some of the some of the great college football games of the last couple of years. Well, the Oklahoma game in 15, Florida game in 16, Georgia in 13. We've been to some of those great ones, but I've never experienced them outside of Neyland, and I've been going to Neyland my whole life. You almost forget until you go and talk to when I was talking to a guy at the Sprint store in Arizona, and he was dude, a couple of years ago, me and a friend, we just wanted to go to Neyland Stadium. It's you forget how truly cool Neyland Stadium is.
Yeah.
You forget about it. But there are some stadiums I'd like to venture to, and not freaking Kroger Field. I know we're going back this year, and I'll love it. I'll love it. I'll have fun, but I want to go to some cool stadiums.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's not the best, but we don't have a ton of options this year as far as away games goes because going to Como is not something.
Going to where?
Columbia, Missouri.
Oh, I've never heard that before.
You never heard Como? Yeah. I think they say it. That's why I just said it.
Did they say that in that rap?
Probably. Yeah, probably.
I'd like to go back to Bryant Denny if Tennessee and Alabama are ever competitive in my lifetime. I would love to go to a Tennessee-Auburn game in Jordan Hare. Missed that opportunity in 17. 18. I'm an idiot. 18.
Oh, yeah,
and Tennessee won. That would have been awesome.
Damn it, fall weddings.
Yeah, so here we are.
Bishop Sycamore Stadium.
Apparently,
awesome.
Deion Sanders said on Pardon My Take that they were supposed to play Bishop Sycamore last year. Trinity was.
Oh,
And
really?
the travel arrangements for Bishop Sycamore didn't work out.
Oh, my God.
It's freaking hilarious. Stupidity.
Stupidity. You can go first if you have them. I need to pull this up. Oh, I'm going to go
Way back.
Kroger Field. They got a Power K now? Are they just trying to take everything?
Listen, I know this is a hot take because it's Kentucky. I love that field logo with the state. It looks
I know, but like, a Power K?
Power K. I mean, that's a pretty like loose. I feel like there's, I don't know. I feel like a bunch of schools have like the power letter. You know,
I feel like UK is like what they're.
Yeah, they
like
probably should have kept UK, but the state outline looks pretty freaking cool. Their state in midfield looks pretty cool. The checkerboard thing looks tacky. I'll say that. The little like small checkerboard on the 50-yard lines looks dumb. But yeah, I'm a big fan of the state. I think it looks good. And there's only, I mean, I don't know, whatever. It does look more basketball courty.
Yeah. I don't know if I have any more.
My first one is Brazil and Argentina in World Cup qualifier. Right before, or like right after kickoff, like 5 minutes in, the whatever, I guess the equivalent, the Brazilian health authorities came out onto the game to stop. Came onto the field to stop the game because of COVID protocol with like involving Argentinian players, and they canceled the game.
Nice.
5 minutes in, why couldn't you have done that prior? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't understand it. I don't understand it.
Doesn't make any sense. My next one is Clark Lee going back to Vanderbilt. He's saying it's a bit of a traumatized group, and there was a bit of an expectation that we were going to win Saturday. There was an expectation that East Tennessee State was going to cooperate in that regard. That's just
that's a weird comment to make. It's a weird comment.
Going to cooperate? Like, you just think they're just going to come in and just lose?
Okay, I'm assuming, I think the words he used are dumb. I'm assuming he meant like, this is an opponent we should have had no problem beating, no matter, kind of like what we say about Georgia State. Like,
yeah, but dude, don't beat around the bush. Say that. If you mean to say it.
Right. You shouldn't run any, like, we shouldn't have to run our full offense. I'm assuming that's what he meant. That was a terrible choice of words.
Yeah.
Like, you truly look like an idiot.
Soft.
He's like, I mean, we paid them. They can come in and win.
Yeah, they're supposed to cooperate with us.
Also, I feel like that's a cheap-ass payday. I feel like they should have gotten more money. Am I wrong?
I mean, to come in there and win, I think they'll take it.
Yeah, but it was only like $500,000.
Oh, really?
Yeah. ETSU is an FCS school.
$500,000. That's like one semester at freaking Vanderbilt.
Definitely should have gotten paid more. My next one, my last one, football. Football is dumb. I'll tell you, this is a protest of mine, and it will be before the end of time. Reviewing the spot of the ball and measuring the first down by chains are just two of the like combined dumbest things that never make sense. First off, you don't review the spot of the ball on every single play. Second off, when that ref sets it down, he can move it like 5-6 inches a foot without anyone noticing from the spot. And then they come out. I can't remember what game it was. I'm trying to guess by when I screenshot it. It was a Friday night game, so maybe UNC Virginia Tech. And they come out and measure the chains. Well, it was so close, and they had measured the chains like a yard from the football, that the ref was like, all right, we need to bring it closer so I can tell. Well, then how do you know it's like this? How do you know it's the same? Because then you have to get the angle exactly right from where the first chain's going down to where the second chain's going down, because that could affect the distance, especially when we're talking about inches. Then the ref gets down on his hands and knees and is like looking like right at the ball to verify. I'm like, I feel like if you got to look that close, that's a first down anyways. But also, how do you know the spot of the ball is perfect? Because now we're talking about inches. But then we have plays where we go back and we watch them on camera. Like, I feel like that's a play that if it's that close, if you're going to do it, you need to go back and look it on camera.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it was a fourth down. It wasn't a third
I like
down
how
that
it's kind of close, and the guy on the sideline is just like,
yeah. I mean, it's like, I mean, you know my stance on reviewing sports. I just think it needs to be. It's dumb. It's so over. Like, just take it out. Who gives an F? Or just fix it, but they won't fix it.
Targeting, dude.
Oh, God.
Oh my God.
That did they decide on Monday night? This is like, we're just gonna be really absurd.
Yeah, I mean it's so dumb, and like I hate the ejection because it's the rest of that game and the next game.
Yeah, at least if you're gonna eject, which I don't think you should, it should just be that game if you're gonna do it.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I don't understand why. What?
I said, what do I know?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's just dumb. I mean, it's ruining. College football's great, but it's putting a damper on college football.
Well, the non-caring assholes of America don't help it.
Yeah, it's like, dude, freaking just throw a 15-yard penalty. Yeah, I mean, player safety is first and foremost, but like, it's the stuff that's uncontrollable. Like,
yeah, right.
And if you're going to call targeting on defense, you got to call it targeting on offense, I think, too. If somebody's lowering their head like this and they make helmet-to-helmet contact, I mean, should that not be targeting on offense?
And I feel like, you especially when you're talking about ejections, there's got to be levels to it. Like, there's got to be.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah, it's incredibly dumb. They should, and like, I mean, going back into ejecting, they shouldn't be double punishing the teams. The players should either be ejected or a 15-yard penalty. I think it's incredibly dumb, especially when it happens like in the flow of a football game. Okay, we still got to eject him because he's got to keep his head up. He's leading with the crown of his helmet. We're implementing safety. Okay, but you shouldn't be double punishing the team for that.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, if they're already starting to tackle and then the player lowers his head, I just don't understand how a defensive player is supposed to do anything about that.
Right. I love the Louisville people getting mad about that one on Matt Corral, that one where he was sliding and the dude just for no reason, I mean, obliterates him. I'm like, guys, that's why targeting exists. Like,
right, yeah, that's the one that you can eject.
Right. I'm like, that one was easy. No, like anyone could have made that call. But yeah, that's it was interesting. So did you like Jason Brown's acronym for the NCAA?
No, I didn't see that.
The non-caring assholes of America.
Oh, yeah.
Have you heard that one before? That was the first time I'd ever heard that.
No, I've never heard that before.
Thought it was great.
What's he doing now?
I think he's just doing that.
On Twitter.
I think he has a slap dick whiskey that he makes and sells. And then I think he does a podcast called, I think it's called the Slap Dick Podcast. So
he makes whiskey. I bet it's out of his hot tub. There's no doubt in my mind.
Can you make whiskey out of a hot tub?
I don't know. He's probably figured out a way.
I would love that. So I wouldn't love to drink that, but I would love to find that out.
That's all I got for stupidity.
That's it for me too. It's been a good one, guys. I can't wait for Saturday. I'm fired up for football, tailgate, perfect weather. EPL back on. Shout out to Jose for bringing that to my attention. It's Atlanta's gonna have to watch football in the morning. God forbid. Multi-TV though. We'll have College Game Day on too. I'm gonna try to figure out multi-screen before then. So don't worry. We'll have it all going. But it'll be a lot of fun. I'm gonna have Orange on and Neeland, of course, L46. Come and say hey if you're in the area. Thanks again for listening, guys. We appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Appreciate Joe for producing. Did a great job, fantastic job. Appreciate all the people in here that commented. A bunch of people said good show, so I guess they were entertained at least long enough to hear something they like to hear. Dude, I'm excited. Johnny Majors, the GOAT.
Oh, for sure.
For sure. We're bringing the boat in, and we out.